Hello and welcome back, everybody. You're listening to an interview in the series of the amazing autistic woman. I'm Tanya, your host, and I'm really honored to have you here on the show. In this series, I interview women on the autism spectrum, showing our everyday life struggles, our limitations, and our problems. They are mostly invisible to the outside, but they are very real and they can be very difficult for us sometimes. If you want to help me to make more of these interviews and support me, there's a GoFundMe link below the video. You can donate whatever you want, and your help is very appreciated. Thank you so much. So, as you already know, I have a passion for unique stories, and my guest today, Anna, also has a unique story. Welcome, Anna.
Thank you. It's lovely to be here. Thank you for having me.
I thank you, Anna. I'm also happy to have you here and interview you today. So, Anna, you're born in Portugal, but you live in the UK now. You are a psychologist and you are self employed now, helping other autistic people.
Yeah. Yeah, I trained as a developmental psychologist and counselor, and I have my own small company now where we deliver different counseling sessions, couple sessions, family sessions, individual sessions, workshops, and mainly autism assessments too. That is our main craft, let's say.
Yeah, that's important to know for anyone watching who doesn't have the diagnosis yet. Anna also makes the assessments.
Yes.
Thanks. So you told me you had an early diagnosis and it all made sense to you back then. So could you please tell us a bit more what the diagnosis made, what it did for you and how it all happened?
Absolutely. So yeah, it's funny to think that it was an early diagnosis because I was 19, so I was already technically an adult when it happened. But as a woman, especially, I would say that was really early on. Most women get diagnosed quite late in life. And I got diagnosed in the second year during the second year of uni. So I had moved from Portugal by myself when I was 18, just because I thought that that would change everything. And it did in many ways, but it also made me realize that there were quite a lot of things that I was still not being able to understand and struggling with that had nothing to do with the country itself. It had to do with, well, me and the way I deal with situations and society and people. And that's what eventually led to me getting diagnosed as autistic. And then more recently, then as having ADHD as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you told me you moved to the UK and it was maybe a bit of a difficult time back then. You moved all alone, and as autistic myself also, maybe people think that's not really possible, but it is of course possible. We can do that.
Absolutely, yeah. Sometimes bigger decisions and really big changing life events are easier for us to deal with than really tiny, small decisions because those small decisions, those small changes seem bigger, especially when they are accumulated, than just the one big one. Because we are strong willed people and we are resilient. We know how to deal with these big things, as hard as they are, and how to thrive through them. It's just about finding those strategies. But absolutely, it was hard. It was really hard.
Yeah. And then what happened? You got your diagnosis at 19?
Yeah. I was studying a film degree, funny enough, and I still finished that film degree that I now use for pretty much nothing besides, yeah, just criticizing every film that comes out. And then after that, because that was such a life-changing event for me, getting diagnosed, understanding myself better, I decided to leave film aside and that wasn't really my path, and decided to go into psychology and started my psychology degree. And yeah, went from there. Just decided that helping people understand themselves better and helping the world in general understand autistic people was my path, let's call it.
Mhm. That's really great. I'm happy you found your path and you can help others now.
Me too.
Yeah. Could you please let us know what kind of limitations you face in everyday life that you associate with the autism?
Yeah, nowadays I'm not sure I see them even that much as limitations, but they really are to a certain extent. It's just that I learned to manage myself so well, I would say. And I guess that's what I do for a living now, is help other people understand themselves better and account for these differences. I talked about it recently as well, but the main one that I would say that affects me daily, no matter what, is impaired interoception. I have a really, I don't know if you call it strong one or complicated one to deal with, because my impaired interoception makes me not be able to feel any of my body functions, which is not very common for other people. Sometimes you have one or the other, but I don't feel any body sensation when it comes to hunger, needing to go to the toilet, needing to go to sleep. My body literally and my brain don't communicate with each other. So I need to do it like within a schedule. Otherwise, I literally forget to go to the toilet, I literally forget to eat, because again, there's no communication, there's no tell sign that I need to do these things. So I do them like every time at the same hour through checklists, through different methods. But yeah, when you forget, if you miss one of those checkpoints, let's call them, you can derail the rest of the day, because eating is important, going to the toilet is important, taking care of yourself in general is important. And it can become a loss sometimes. It's one of the few things I wished sometimes that I could just have, so I could take care of myself a little bit. Not better because I do it well, but more easily.
Mm. Yeah, I can imagine that's pretty tough.
Yeah, it's I used to see it as stuff. Now I try to see it as just part of being me. There's so many amazing things to being autistic, so many things that I love. So this is the other side of it that I just need to accept and deal with. That's literally it. Yeah, I would say that's the main one for me. And then of course there's those times where you feel autistic burnout, and it kind of everything feels like it's crashing onto you and everything is really overwhelming. But I also learned to deal with that through, yeah, dedicating myself to certain special interests, allowing myself to recover after social events. There's quite a lot of adjusting that I needed to understand and do throughout my life since I got diagnosed. And to be honest, I think not every day, but most days, different things show up where I change and I need to adapt again. And it's like a delicate dance, a delicate balance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah. You said earlier that the checklists are really saving your life, not
Yeah.
only with the body functions, with other things as well.
Yeah, I'd say as someone that is trying to run a whole company, I keep myself organized, and I also schedule for time to rest, because it's so easy for me to hyper focus and just stay on my desk for 8 hours, 12 hours on end. So checklists and literally scheduling breaks, scheduling stretch times, exercise time, all of those things are what keep me, yeah, mentally okay and stable and feeling like I have a good handle on my mental health. So yeah, checklists and organization is a big part of my life.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And do you have other limitations, maybe that in everyday life you'd like to let us know about? I know you have a dog who's on the
Yes,
couch.
yes, little Alfie, he's my he looks so funny
Very
right
sweet.
now. He's my autism support dog. The main reason I got Alfie was because leaving the house was really intense for me. I felt a really strong sense of agoraphobia, and it was really scary for many different reasons. As autistic people, we have an inherent feeling of unsafety a lot of the times. And when I go out with him, I just feel confident enough and I feel safe enough to go about my life and be out and about. But that is a big difference. I used to be almost confined to my house. And now with him and with just building this confidence and understanding of myself, and with different strategies like the um, band, the neckband, and everything around my neck, and just announcing almost my autism to the world. It just makes me feel more confident. The sunflower hidden disabilities band, and yeah, it's just about finding ways to make yourself feel comfortable more than anything else. I would say that yeah, I strive for comfort and relief within my day-to-day life, and that's what connects me with myself.
Mm. Yeah, connecting with myself. Also, I noticed that for me that autism has many limitations, but it has a lot of gifts, and one is really that I'm much better in connecting with myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, listening and hearing my needs and putting the boundaries also. Like before, we probably have crossed the boundaries, but now I know I cannot do it anymore. So,
Which is hard, isn't it? Like even figuring out what boundaries are important for you, how to set them. There's a lot of anxiety. I would say that boundaries are one of the hardest things to literally put down because it feels like that. I feel like you're building them. But one of the most life-changing things too, isn't it? So yeah, absolutely.
mm, mhm. You get sensory overload when you're in social situations.
Absolutely. Yeah. Again, my sensory processes are quite intense. I don't know if it's because of the impaired interoception or what is at play, but sensory wise, like there's a lot of clothes that literally feel like there's needles stabbing onto my skin. If I have different types of textiles on, I have a really bad audio figure ground that is very intense. So that means that like when sirens or different noises, for me it's sirens and electronic noises come on, it literally feels like electricity or needles are stabbing against my brain, and it's really intense, and I can't function when that type of noise is going on. And you can't see now because I'm inside, but these glasses that I'm wearing, they are photochromic. They have photochromic lenses, which means they change with different types of light because I'm really sensitive to light as well. It brings me a lot of headaches too. So again, just a lot of things that I adjusted and changed the way I dress because of the textiles. Like the textile is more important than the way it looks. And yeah, lenses, ear defenders, all of those things. It's kind of like almost equipment to go outside. It is really intense sometimes. And if you forget one of those things, life can become quite complicated. But yeah, sensory processes tend to be a little bit of a challenge. But yeah, hand handable one. Yeah, it's okay to need those things in order to be able to manage yourself.
Hmm. You gave us a good list of the things that you would say are difficult or you have to adjust with. Did you come up with your own ways to cope with those limitations?
Yeah, I'd say all those things I listed were my own way of doing things because a lot of the things that other people had suggested, it had been neurotypical suggesting them at the beginning, and they didn't necessarily work for me all the time. And I had to experiment a lot back and forth between what ear defenders work, what earplugs work, what lenses work or not, if it isn't, sorry, if it even is okay for me to have glasses on my face all the time. And some glasses, it wasn't, these ones in specific, it's okay. But they are like anti-slippery and everything. Like, it's just about yeah, figuring those things out little by little, a lot of experimentation in knowing that it's okay that some of these things are not going to be what works for you. It's not a mistake, really. And even if it was, it's okay to make mistakes and to try and go back and forth with things and change your mind and try again. But yeah, I tend to keep diaries of why things work for me and why they don't work for me, almost as if I'm studying myself and trying to understand myself better. So then I have enough data to change things and go about it. Why are mornings easier? Why are evenings harder? Why is this like that? Why is, yeah.
Mm, good, very nice. Anything else you can think of?
Yeah, there's so much. This is my whole life, isn't it? It's like it's my job. So I could stay here for hours on end. Um, yeah, I think there's so much to it. Just connection with animals changed my life. knowing how to be in social situations when it makes sense for me and how to remove myself when it's not okay anymore. Learning that the impression I make on other people is less important than my opinion of myself, and safeguarding myself and being okay. And it's just, again, a lot of adapting, a lot of, that's what I help my clients do, like let go of past systems, let go of templates that we had in the past that were taught to us through our parents and society, things that don't work for us and we were forcing ourselves to be within and to use, and literally clean those out so you can bring new ones, new systems, new templates, new things that will actually make your life better and work for you and make things make sense. There's so much to us. There's so much that we can learn, that we can do. We can really be absolutely exceptional. And there's so many examples of that. So it's just about letting that exceptionality shine, I would say.
Yeah, I think your story is amazing, and I'm very sure that you are helping your clients really take back control of their life.
Yeah, that's literally it. It's like stop being controlled by all these like outside sources and just really connect with yourself so you can feel like that. Control the things that you can control and accept the things that you can't, type of thing.
Mm. I really like what you write on your LinkedIn profile. So if anyone watching, Anna has a LinkedIn profile and writes very good posts about how to cope in everyday situations. I really enjoy reading them. And if you, yeah, so we will post the link below so everybody can follow you in LinkedIn. And just one note to anyone watching today, I made a mini course online which you can get for free if you are autistic, or it also helps non-autistic people. In that mini course, I help and show some techniques how I deal with my limitations. There is, for example, in freedom, emotional freedom technique, tapping, or affirmations, and you can get them by just putting your email in the link below, and you can do the course on your own.
That's lovely.
So Anna, yeah, you have pretty much told us how you cope with the autism. Is there any take home message you'd like to give today?
Well, I always tend to finish with this one, so I shall stay on brand. Um, Einstein was autistic, diagnosed, and he could not cope or he could not work and make use of his beautiful brain because of sensory processes. His main complaint was socks and the fact that socks distracted him so much and that bothered him so much. And literally, as soon as he decided to stop wearing socks and just wear what made him feel comfortable and leave that type of tiny decision aside, he started being the exceptional person we remember him for. So yeah, I always end with saying just be Einstein without socks and allow us to experience your exceptionality, allow you to experience it too, because we all deserve it.
Wow, great, thank you. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm really happy that you came to the interview today. Thanks. And if you are listening today, you can also hire me to make such kind of portrait interview. There's a Calendly link below. You can click and have a chat with me. First hour is free and we'll get to know each other. Okay, we say bye to the UK. Thanks, Anna.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.